Everything from online privacy, responsible use of AI, addictive algorithms, protection of children on the internet, the list goes on and on.
We are here for the big names and the niche stars. It's a great opportunity to be able to partner with the industry as opposed to trying to define the industry.
Guys, it has finally happened. A YouTuber has actually done something that could benefit society, apart from charity streams. I know a lot of YouTubers do charity streams, and that is for a very good cause, but let's ignore charity for a second. This YouTuber has plans for a congressional clause that basically protects and fosters policy surrounding creators. And of course, it is the king of game theories, MatPat. MatPat, I would like to say, on behalf of all creators, thank you for protecting our bank accounts. I kneel, MatPat. Now, I will be honest with you, YouTube retirement, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some people leave the platform and they basically never return. You know, they have a humble life. They leave the internet. Like, for example, PewDiePie, who only uploads a video when he has a NordVPN sponsor. And then you've got other YouTubers that never retire and they keep uploading until they get old and wrinkly and their channel falls off, which is what's happening to me right now. But what you really don't expect is an e-celeb to actually get involved in politics. I've just sat here for like 2 minutes realizing that is the stupidest statement I have ever said in my life. I genuinely think that political grifting is probably one of the most profitable things you can do online right now. Now, MatPat, the former host of game theory, film theory, style theory, food theory, he's actually delved into the world of politics in hopes to create a legislation for better working conditions for online creators. Because as you guys know, as a YouTuber, my life is very hard. I get up at 3 in the afternoon. I speak words to a camera for 10 minutes that's way too expensive for the quality of these videos. Same with this microphone. And then I send it off to an editor who does 90% of the work. You really don't understand how difficult it is, guys. So on the 10th of June, MatPat actually put out a tweet making a pretty big announcement to anyone that didn't know. New quest, Washington, D.C. After 2 years of work, Steph and I have just launched the Creator Economy Caucus in the House of Representatives, a bipartisan group where creators can work alongside lawmakers to ensure legislation is timely and relevant for the internet age. We've already got 10 reps on board. We're just getting started. We'll eventually want to assemble creator advocates from around the country. So if you're interested in helping Washington understand our world, stay tuned here for more info. Okay, like you're watching a Daily Slop channel. The research here isn't going to be anything amazing, but to anyone that isn't kind of in the political sphere, a caucus, or a congressional caucus in this case, it's a political organization composed of politicians. And they basically try to group together behind a single issue that they all agree with. This can be something politicians feel really strongly about, or an issue that really heavily relates to their individual constituents. You have big caucuses like the Freedom Caucus, the Congressional Equality Caucus, but then you have very niche ones like, for example, the Congressional Cement Caucus, or the Friends of Wales Caucus. I don't know why you'd want to be friends with anyone in Wales, but that's on you. Also, I'd like to say we have a restock of merch. We have caps, tees, hoodies. Look, I say it every video. I know I do, all right? But buy some! Buy some now! Link in description. Now, caucuses exist because American politics... Oh, God, I got to talk about American politics for this? Oh, God, just kill me. So they've got a pretty rigid two-party system. You vote Democrat or Republican. That's pretty much it. You can vote a third party. Yeah, all right. You keep telling yourself that. It's like someone in the UK saying they're voting Green for, like, greater change. Yeah, they'll never get in. I think in the UK, the only place that consistently actually always holds a Green seat is Brighton. And that place is so progressive, although Minecraft YouTubers moved there. But the point I'm trying to make is in a lot of European countries, you've got parties that are pretty numerous. It isn't just solely left and right. I mean, okay, it is. Come on, let's be real. But there's just like more of them to pick from. But if you have two parties full of members that differ heavily from each other, this is called big tent parties or catch-all parties. It's basically when one political party covers a large spectrum of ideas, ideologies. Oh, are you learning something from a slut video? Oh, cringe, cringe. But to whittle down the issues that these politicians actually care about, they join caucuses. And the caucus acts kind of like a party within a party, and they can really range in ideas. For example, the Blue Dog Coalition, that's formed of socially and fiscally conservative Democrats, and they often vote and legislate more right-wing or Republican than the more moderate sect of the Republican Party. So apart from all of this political wait a minute, dude, I have music playing in the background because it like helps me focus when I'm working. And bro, it came up with the PewDiePie song. Oh my God, holy nostalgia. I like the bit where he says share mode activate. That's my favorite bit.
Share mode activate.
Basically, I explained all this because what MatPat has done is created a party of people that have the same ideas and values for this specific thing without having to create a whole new independent party. You know, getting members elected, all that kind of hassle. He's basically skipped all of that. These are members that have basically already been elected by the public, and so they can band together to basically push the will of this caucus. He notes here as well that creators can basically work alongside politicians and lawmakers to basically ensure legislation is timely and relevant for the internet age. That's his quote. And this is something that caucuses actually have access to that a regular political party might not. You know, the ability to bring in like experts or specialists, basically trying to help push this policy. Now, I do want to say though, although people have been elected, it doesn't actually make politicians knowledgeable about every topic related to politics. So by having actual creators be involved, politicians who kind of aren't really up to date with the sphere of the internet can be influenced by people who do. And as we know, like boomers in Washington and stuff, they have a phone with like a big leather cover on it that's bigger than the phone itself. That's pretty much all I need to say. Basically, these creators can come in and they can bring their thoughts and opinions, and they'll obviously know more about how the internet works. But on the other hand, the elected officials can actually bring the power to put these plans into action, you know, if they want to turn a certain demand into a legislation. Now, another part of the announcement which might get people caught on is the bipartisanship. Now, the fault lines in these ideas and politics and beliefs have definitely become more divided recently, but by making this bipartisan caucus, MatPat is essentially inviting people from both sides of the aisle to collaborate on this project. And during the announcement, you can definitely see that's what he's gone for. For example, currently you have Beth Van Duyne, who's a representative from Texas for the Republican Party, and Yvette Clarke, who's a representative from New York for the Democrat Party. Now, this isn't MatPat selling out to the Republicans or caving into the Democrats, although to be fair, he always talks like he went to theater school, so you can kind of guess which way he leans politically. I'm not even going to say anything. I know saying that is going to cause so much discourse in the comments. The thing is, so many bills introduced get shot down because of just absolute nothing reasons. Usually because one party, they might like an idea, but because it will help the other party more, just out of spite, they're like, no, I don't think I will. But by being bipartisan, both parties, they can basically toe this middle line where hopefully neither side will see it as a partisan issue and support bills and policies if they see it as good for, you know, the greater whole, I guess. Now, I've seen some people online saying that MatPat is becoming a lobbyist or part of a lobbying group, and that has some like really negative connotations to it. The thing is, a congressional caucus is not actually the same as a lobbying group. Flat out, they are completely different things. A lobbying group is typically a business or can be an individual person with a lot of money who basically pays elected officials to argue their case in court. If you're hearing this for the first time, it sounds like bribery. I did not think I was becoming political Andy for a slop live video. It basically is legal bribery. Now, there are a lot of different ways that people can actually lobby, but what people are accusing MatPat of doing here is insider lobbying. This is where you basically pay money to a lawmaker, judge, or a member of Congress to influence them to be on your side. Basically, think of it of that time where Aiden Ross gave Trump a Rolex and also a Cybertruck.
That's just terrible.
Now, this is very different to a congressional caucus for a multitude of reasons. Firstly, a caucus is formed inside the government by elected officials. It's not really as direct as private individuals flinging a bunch of money around. If he started throwing large sums of cash at people, then yeah, sure, that would be a little bit sus. And there's probably an argument to be made there. But by the sounds of it, he's basically just helped construct the caucus and will take an advisory role from there. And I think it's really good that MatPat is actually heading this because, again, you'd rather have a creator actually speak for creators and not just some boomer who doesn't even know how to unlock his phone. I mean, MatPat is an example of a creator that became so successful that basically in his 30s, he could retire and then hire other people to run his business for him. And I think it's good to actually have experts in the field brought forward. Now, there wasn't just a tweet announcement for this. The people I mentioned earlier, Beth Van Duyne and Yvette Clarke, actually hosted a speech where they declared their wants and their aims for this creator caucus. So the big point that they tried to bring up here is they want to see creators as a small business.
They are also being met with a plethora of challenges many entrepreneurs and small business owners face, such as access to capital and financial services, tax reporting and compliance, vocational training for creator economy jobs, data privacy, intellectual property and copyrights, platform accountability and algorithmic transparency, monetization and payment transparency. To meet the moment, their views and challenges must be heard by Congress in a meaningful and actionable way.
This would give creators who want to turn their channels into something bigger than just a channel the legal and financial means to be able to do so. This can invoke stuff like, for example, tax breaks or reshaping a creator-focused tax code. Wait a minute, does that mean less tax? Does this mean the rich people get more money? Wait a minute. I like MatPat now. It is really funny though, with a lot of countries, they don't actually know how to tax YouTubers or just content creators. Like if I fill in a visa to go to a different country, there's not even an option for a video creator. It's just like in the arts. Well, I'm an artist because I talk about slop every day. But I know a lot of people are saying this is just rich people protecting rich people, but they've also said that they don't want to focus on just the big names. They want to change the goalposts so it actually positively impacts all creators, even the smaller ones.
And that's what the heart of the Creators Caucus is. We are here for the big names and the niche stars, for the backyard inventors, the kitchen table podcasters, and the teachers who explain quantum physics using sock puppets.
So this does actually allude to much bigger plans than the original caucus, other than helping, big creators pay their taxes. At this point, we can only really theorize something, a game theory, but we could be seeing things like, for example, the regulation of AI content or IP laws against taking someone's video, because as you've probably seen, I don't know if you want to open up YouTube Shorts after this video and take a little scroll, but I guarantee you in less than 30 seconds, you will have either a bot that's re-uploaded a clip from a film or a TV show, or just someone running around Minecraft parkour with a text-to-speech Reddit post that was read. With the inclusion of AI, as AI can have many uses, which I'll think about later, the entire point is there is so much AI slop on the platform right now, and unfortunately, that's probably burying a lot of creators that would have been recognized without that saturation. And because at the minute, a lot of people are dictated by the platform that they actually upload on. YouTube makes a rule, everyone has to obey it. We make some videos, we cry about it, we get a couple $100 crying about it. We still have to abide by it, though. And also at the minute, there's not really any legal protections for YouTubers. I mean, think back to the adpocalypse, the PewDiePie bridge incident. That was so catastrophic, and it led to probably a lot of people flat out losing their livelihood or being pushed off the platform because they just weren't making enough money because YouTube basically shit the bed and a bunch of big advertisers pulled out to protect their own brand. If there was a law protecting us back then, that wouldn't have happened, or if it did happen, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as severe. But the one thing I really do respect from this whole endeavor is this line.
I think by creating a caucus, by giving us an opportunity to have a platform where we're discussing it, where we're going to be inviting, people who actually do this for a living to come and share their stories, share their concerns, share their experiences with members of Congress, I think it's a great opening, and it's a great opportunity to be able to partner with the industry as opposed to trying to define the industry.
They want to partner with the industry, not actually define it. And that's a very healthy perspective to look at for this entire situation. If lawmakers were opting for a complete hands-on approach where they decided how exactly the creator industry would function, it just wouldn't work. The online space, it's too sporadic, it's too irregular, and politicians, they'll just make that worse. Also, keep in mind as well, like being an e-celeb, like a YouTuber, it still is a relatively new industry. YouTube is really only around 20 years old. I know a lot of you are saying only, calling me an unk. I mean, I am pushing 30, it's over. But again, 20 years for a platform to exist really is not a lot of time. Like, for example, in the way 2009, people would watch PewDiePie screaming at barrels.
All right, let's get the other. Barrels! You fuck!
And those people probably never would have imagined a man with Crohn's disease would actually create one of the most hit TV shows on Amazon, where he gave away $10 million. I'm just hoping that with this whole kind of MatPat law, we're going to call it the MatPat law, there's like a more pragmatic approach to how the government creates policies concerning creators themselves. So if you're wondering, was this entire video me basically ranting about how hard it is being a YouTuber? Yes.